I trusted my sister more than anyone else, but when money came between us, I never imagined she'd betray me in the worst way possible. Here's how I exposed her lies to the entire family and how it changed everything. It all started when I agreed to help my sister, Lily, with a business venture she was starting. She had always been the more ambitious one, while I focused on my job, but when she asked me for a loan to help her get things off the ground, I didn't hesitate. I believed in her, and I believed in her dreams. Our relationship had always been close. We shared everything, our hopes, our fears, and the ups and downs of life. She was my best friend, and I couldn't imagine anyone in my family more trustworthy. I remember how she promised me, over and over again, that she would pay me back as soon as the business started making money. I wasn't worried about the loan, especially because she was so confident. But as the months passed, the excitement of her new venture started to wear off, and things didn't look as promising as she'd led me to believe. She'd always have an excuse. I'm almost there, or it's taking longer than expected. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. The lies started to pile up, and I began to feel a sense of unease. What hurt the most was how she'd come to me with stories of her struggles, making me feel guilty for even asking about the loan. I wanted to believe her, but I also wanted the truth. One day, when I casually asked about the loan again, Lily snapped at me, accusing me of being impatient, as if I was the one in the wrong. That was when I started looking into things. The more I dug, the more I found bank statements that didn't match her stories, evidence of her splurging on vacations and shopping sprees while claiming financial hardship. It was clear she was lying to me, and it made me feel like a fool. But the real shock came when I discovered she had been telling the rest of the family a completely different story about me, portraying me as the one who was untrustworthy, manipulating their opinions of me. She twisted everything, from the terms of the loan to my character, all in an attempt to cover her tracks. The betrayal hurt more than I could put into words. That's when I decided I had to expose her. I couldn't just let her get away with it. The entire family needed to know what she was really doing. So, I gathered the evidence, screenshots of texts, the bank statements, everything, and I sent it all out to every family member, making sure they saw the truth. The fallout was immediate and intense. My sister, the person I had trusted most in the world, was now seen in a completely different light by everyone, and the chaos that followed was nothing short of a nightmare. She tried to deny it all, but the proof was undeniable. Lily wasn't just exposed for her lies, she was exposed for the kind of person she had become. The shock was palpable. No one saw her the same way after that. And as much as it hurt me to do it, I knew I had done the right thing. The truth was out, and there was no going back. But what happened next was something none of us could have ever predicted. The aftermath of exposing Lily's lies was nothing short of chaotic. The family's reactions were all over the place. Some sided with me, others with her, and a few simply chose to stay silent, unsure of who to believe. My parents, who had always been supportive of both of us, were devastated. My mother, in particular, couldn't understand how Lily had gone so far. She called me crying, asking if there was any way to salvage things. But my trust was shattered. I couldn't just sweep this under the rug for the sake of family harmony. Lily's actions weren't just a betrayal of trust. They were a betrayal of love, loyalty, and everything we had built together. And now, the whole family was divided, unsure of who to believe. Lily, on the other hand, went into full damage control mode. She called everyone, our aunts, uncles, cousins, trying to twist the story in her favor, claiming that I was out to ruin her life, that I was exaggerating the truth for personal gain. It was infuriating. She accused me of trying to destroy her business, trying to ruin her future, all while hiding the fact that she was the one who had lied and manipulated every situation. I could see through her lies, but I wasn't sure if the rest of the family would. The tension was palpable. Every family gathering was awkward, with people whispering behind closed doors, unsure of how to approach me or her. The only person who stood by me completely was my older brother, Mark. He had always been the peacemaker, but even he saw through Lily's antics. "She's been using you for a long time," he told me one evening over the phone. "Don't let her make you feel guilty. You did what you had to do." His words were a relief, but the damage had already been done. Lily's reputation was tarnished, and she knew it. But instead of taking responsibility, she doubled down, trying to play the victim. I thought the worst was behind me, But the true consequences were just beginning. My cousin, who had always been a bit of a troublemaker, decided to intervene. She reached out to me, accusing me of airing dirty laundry for the world to see. "You shouldn't have done that," she said, her voice laced with judgment. "Family is everything, and you're tearing us apart." It was frustrating. I wanted to scream, to tell her how wrong she was. Family wasn't everything if it was built on lies and manipulation. But I didn't. Instead, I listened, but I refused to let her make me feel guilty. Lily had made her choices, and I had made mine. But then came the final blow. My father, who had always been my rock, called me one night and told me that Lily was planning to cut ties with the family if the drama didn't stop. It hit me like a punch to the gut. She was threatening to leave all of us, as if she had been the one wronged. "She's really going to do it this time," my dad said, his voice heavy with disappointment. "She says you're the one who's ruined everything." I didn't know what to say. The truth was, Lily had already ruined everything with her lies, but now she was playing the martyr, making me the villain in the process. The emotional toll of it all was wearing me down. My mind raced with thoughts of how things had spiraled so out of control. How had it come to this? And more importantly, was there any way to fix things? But as I thought about it, I realized something important. I had already done the hardest part. I had exposed the truth. I had laid it bare for everyone to see. And if Lily chose to walk away from the family, that was on her. It wasn't my fault she had burned every bridge in sight. So, while the emotional weight of the situation continued to haunt me, I found a strange sense of peace in knowing that I had done the right thing. But then, just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, Lily made an announcement that left everyone stunned. The moment Lily made her announcement, everything came crashing down. It was a family gathering at our aunt's house, and the air was thick with tension. My parents, Mark, and even some of the cousins who had been on the fence about the whole situation were all there. I was sitting at the kitchen table, nervously trying to avoid eye contact with anyone when Lily walked in. She had a look in her eyes that sent a chill down my spine, something cold, calculating, like she was about to drop a bombshell. She stood in front of the family, her posture perfect, her voice steady. "I've decided to leave the family," she said, her words slicing through the silence like a knife. "I can't be part of a family that believes lies, that treats each other like this." For a moment, no one spoke. I could see the shock in my parents' faces, the confusion in Mark's eyes. But Lily wasn't done. "I've been talking to a lawyer, and I'm going to take a step away from everything, especially the financial situation. I'm going to make sure that all of this is dealt with legally." The implication was clear. She was threatening me with legal action. She was going to try to sue me, claim I had damaged her business, and possibly even attempt to get back the money I had lent her. It was the ultimate manipulation tactic. By now, everyone in the room was either staring at her in disbelief or trying to figure out what this meant for the family. My mother looked devastated, but my father, still a man of principle, stood up, his face hardening. "Lily, this has gone too far," he said. "You can't just turn your back on us like this." But Lily wasn't backing down. "I don't need any of you," she said coldly. "I'm done." The room fell into an eerie silence, the kind of silence you only get when something irreversible happens. It felt like the ground was shifting beneath my feet. How could she say something like that after everything she had put us through? But it wasn't just the words that shook me. It was the way she said them, like she was completely convinced she was in the right, like she had everyone fooled. That's when the anger started bubbling up inside me. I had tried to be the bigger person, to take the high road, but this was too much. I stood up, my voice shaking but firm. "You're really going to walk away from your family over a lie?" I asked. "After everything you've done? You betrayed every one of us, and now you think you're the victim." My words hit her like a punch. I could see her face twitch, the mask of confidence faltering for just a second. But she quickly regained her composure, giving me a smug smile. "You're the one who exposed me," she said, her voice dripping with venom. "You did this. I'm just trying to protect myself." And just like that, the anger turned into something else, something even worse: betrayal. I had always thought of Lily as someone who would never turn her back on family. Yet here she was, completely willing to destroy everything for the sake of her ego and to cover up her lies. I felt sick. "You're not going to get away with this," I said, my voice barely a whisper. But Lily wasn't finished. "You've already lost." "I've already made sure I'm legally protected," she shot back, her eyes gleaming with malice. You can't touch me now. This is over." The room went deathly quiet, but I knew she wasn't telling the truth. She was bluffing. She had no legal grounds to stand on, no case to build. This was just another desperate attempt to manipulate the situation. But something inside me snapped. I wasn't going to let her get away with playing the victim anymore. "You're right about one thing," I said. "This is over, but not in the way you think." I turned to my parents, who were now watching us with a mix of disbelief and sorrow. "This isn't about me versus her," I said. "This is about the truth. And if Lily wants to play the victim, that's fine. But the truth will come out. It always does." I walked out of the room then, feeling the weight of everything that had happened. It wasn't just the family that was shattered, it was me, too. But as I stepped outside, I realized something that gave me a strange sense of relief. I had done what I had to do. I had exposed the lies, confronted the betrayal, and let the chips fall where they may. Lily might have thought she was winning, but in reality, she was losing everything: her family, her reputation, and any shred of trust she once had. And in the end, that was the biggest price she could pay. The family would heal. We always did. But Lily would be the one left alone, with no one to blame but herself. And as for me, I knew I would never make the same mistake again, trusting someone who had already shown their true colors.